Daniel Jones hasn't had much fun the last year and a half, but it changed this past Sunday. He got busy, Malik Neighbors got busy, and the Giants got a dub, most importantly. Jones, 2-touchdown performance, 0 turnovers, but now with the whole world watching, I would suggest this is the most important game of his career. He signed a 2-year, $80 million deal about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was a 4-year, $120 million deal. And correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 of the years are guaranteed.
Yeah.
So I say it's a 2-year guarantee deal because for the most of it's practically a 2-year deal. James, let me come to you first, big dog. What is at stake for Daniel Jones in this massive game tomorrow?
He's fighting for his career. Every game, Daniel Jones is fighting for his career that he takes the field for the New York Football Giants. Is he the franchise quarterback for the New York Football Giants? A lot of people will say no. He has to prove that this year. Every single game he takes the field, he has to play well. So if you asking me what's at stake, his career is at stake. He is a bad season away from being a backup quarterback for the rest of his career in the National Football League. That is what he's looking at. So if he doesn't go out here and play well every single game this season, that is what he's looking at. And it starts with the Dallas Cowboys. He's 1-6 against the Dallas Cowboys. Last time I checked, that ain't good. No matter how you slice it or dice it, he's beat the Cowboys 1 time in the last 7 meetings. This is a huge game. I believe every single game he takes the field, he is fighting for his career. Is he going to be on the New York Giants next year? Because if he goes out there and he plays bad, they will be drafting a quarterback in the first round, and Daniel Jones will be looking for a new team.
Given the fact that this game is on national television, whole world watching, owners have egos like coaches have egos. James, Chase Shady. James, starting with you, Chase, if you want to chime into this as well. Is there more at stake in this game? It's different when you play a game in a competitive time slot and nobody watches. Yeah. But with everybody watching, is there more at stake in this game, you think?
Not as a player, as a quarterback. You just try to go up play. Like, you're getting more eyeballs. You're going to get eyeballs no matter what because you're the Giants. But I think it's irrelevant, in my opinion. Man, the lights is on, man. Yeah. Thursday night football, everybody watching. You want to ball out. This ain't no 10 a.m. game to where ain't nobody watching. So the lights is on. You know you are the only game on TV, and you know the lights is going to be out there. You want to go out there and ball out. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position. You want to go out there and ball out. But like I said, he got to show this organization that he can be that dude.
Chase, what's the stake, man?
What's at stake for Daniel Jones tomorrow night? I like your career answer, but that's the macro. Let's go micro with the answer. First place in the NFC East could possibly be on the line with that game. Think about this. Daniel Jones, first place quarterback in the NFC East after week 4. Here's how it could happen. They just got to beat their biggest rivals tomorrow. That would drop Dallas to rock bottom. We talked about it on the show. They're going to be 1-3 if they lose to Daniel Jones. Okay, Giants would be 2-2. I think the Eagles can beat the Bucks, but if the Bucks beat the Eagles, okay, they're 2-2.
Dallas again?
If the Commanders get beat at Arizona, we saw a Dallas team last year going to Arizona. Arizona's better this year. That puts them at 2-2. So the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Giants
are all sitting there
at 2-2 in first place. That's what's on the line. His career, that's great. Can you imagine if we come on this show on Monday and we say Daniel Jones is in first place in the NFC East, or even Friday, right? He's had 2 interceptions in week 1, but didn't play well. The last 2 weeks, no interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 70% completion percentage. Malik Neighbors is a force to be reckoned with. They really should be. If you really look, forget about how Daniel Jones played against the Commanders. They should be 2-1 right now. They should have won that game in the Commanders. Malik Neighbors dropped this 4th down ball. They didn't have a kicker. They didn't kick extra points. They went for 2 every time. That's why they ended up losing. I'm not saying he's playing great. He's an all-world beater, but first place is definitely on the line.
What are we talking about? First of all, for record, you going to stop doubting us. You doubt us against the Saints, and you got your boat. All right. Second of all, what are we really talking about? We talking about Daniel Jones at stake? Nothing. I want to be him when I grow up. He's one of the only people I know that can be average his whole career, go to Duke, get drafted in the first round, go to that Big Apple in New York, right? They having a conversation, should we keep him or pay Saquon Barkley, which was crazy. They let Saquon leave. He's a starter. He plays awful. They gave him money, and he's still a starter. If he plays bad tomorrow night, would it matter to you? Would it matter?
No.
He's still going to be the starter, and he's still going to be the guy. And he plays one of the best coaches in football with Brian Daboll. So what's at stake? Nothing. Daniel Jones, just being Daniel Jones. It's like living a life you have no worries, right? You can do whatever you want.
So
Hold up. Everybody in the world thinks he's bad, right? Nobody thinks he's good. Chase,
What?
he's not good, right?
No, he's not good.
Okay. And it don't matter. You get what I'm saying?
I was
Because
looking at my
thing
next
is
note. I was like,
like we
what?
asked about the taking the NFC and like all this and that in his career. None of that matters, James.
yeah. So let's
At the end of the day, Daniel Jones is going to be a starting quarterback for the New York Giants. Good or bad?
next year.
I don't know. I thought he would never be starting again.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's anything outside of winning 2 playoff games that would make him the starter even next year. I think he could be benched.
Really?
Here's what I know. If you do something on national television, it is exacerbated. Remember, Sam Darnold saw ghosts playing the Patriots with the whole world watching. If he would have seen ghosts, like James Jones said, at 10 a.m. and nobody sees, we don't know nothing about nothing. Remember, Myles Garrett takes his helmet and swings it at Mason Rudolph
Lord.
on primetime television. If he would have done that when nobody saw, maybe still fine, but he's not suspended the rest of the season. So many of these tragic injuries that we've seen by Tua Tagovailoa and all the things, exacerbated in large part because the whole world is watching. If Daniel Jones comes out here and has no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and lose like they lost last year, 40-0, if I'm not mistaken, week 1 versus the Dallas Cowboys with the whole world watching. Hey, DJ, it's going to be even longer season than last year's. And last year's you was hurt and rehab, and that's a long season.
Can you imagine what's going to happen in Dallas if they lose this game?
We're going to talk about that, too. They got blown out at home. Really, they got blown out up until the 4th quarter by the Baltimore Ravens. They did make the score look closer than the game was indeed. Now, rushing-wise, the defense has been atrocious. In totality, the defense has been awful, but the record is 1-2. They can still save themselves Thursday versus the New York Giants. But, before you can save yourself, you got to save your ego. That's James Jones. That's Chase Daniel. To my right, it's my dog, Shady McCoy. Shady, let's get to it, big dog. Should Jerry Jones, should he be embarrassed by what the Cowboys are putting on the field and what he has done?
Woosah,
big dog.
Wednesday, right? God is good. And good morning, fellas.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
So should he be embarrassed? He shouldn't be embarrassed. The Cowboys should be embarrassed. Last time I checked, Jerry Jones ain't making no tackles.
No, he's not.
He ain't blowing no coverages. He's not missing assignments. He's
not.
staying in his gap against the running game.
Yep.
That's not him.
True.
He's not throwing picks.
True.
That's not him.
True.
But one thing Jerry Jones did do, he got y'all 9 All-Pros, right? And 8 of them All-Pros, they're still there. He's doing his job. When I look at the Dallas Cowboys about being embarrassed, we should go to that defense. Y'all should be embarrassed. Mike McCarthy, y'all should be embarrassed. Right now in the NFL, first of all, y'all gave up 274 yards in a real game. That's like Madden numbers, though. When I play my son, that's what stuff I do to him. People are averaging 190 yards per game against the Cowboys. That ranks dead last against the run. How the hell is that Jerry Jones issue? Right? Because last time I checked, you do got Michael Parsons still there. DeMarcus Lawrence is still there. You go out there and get Kendricks in our free agency. We talk about they ain't do nothing with the defense, but they did. He's a solid linebacker, would you say?
Yeah.
Right? You go out there and you draft a guy first round from Michigan, a deep tackle to stop the run.
Yep.
So when we talking about embarrassed, no, we should only focus on the team itself. And one thing about Andy Reid I've learned, we don't deal with all the ownership. They're going to give you the players you need or you want. You can't control that. What we can control is how we coach these guys up. Are we disciplined? And how are we competing, though? Because when I check and I watch the Cowboys, they're not competing. They're not a competing team. There's no type of fight. There's no type of dog. You can't go for 274 yards and think there's some fight in them. So I'm not going to blame this on Jerry Jones, but I will blame this on the players and the coaches.
You forgot something there.
What I forget, big brother? What I forget?
I think Jerry Jones should be embarrassed because he allowed Mike McCarthy to stay the coach without giving him a new contract. You talk about all the things you just talked about, that's on the coach. The coach hires the defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. The coach runs that offense. So that's why ultimately I think Jerry Jones should be embarrassed. Let's rewind back to April. Remember those all-in comments that he made? He reiterated it again in July. You know what the Cowboys did in the offseason and free agency?
What's that?
They spent $18 million in free agency. That is easily the least amount in the NFL. You know the second highest? You know the second lowest? $60 million. There's a $40 million difference in spending. They're the most profitable and valuable franchise in all of America. So when you do that, what does it say to the guys you have in the building? You go out, you get running back Ezekiel Elliott, 29 years old. He's washed. He isn't playing well. Let's be real. Linval Joseph, I'm pretty sure you did a libero on him yesterday. He's 35, and then you go sign Eric Kendricks, who's 32. You go out and you sign guys that are older. They're already an old team. Why are you getting older